There's no way you're going to sell the one world government. It's impossible. The only way to make a one world government work is to have the people embrace it. They have to want it because nobody wants it. So the trick is to make people want it, to embrace it. There's only one way. The only way. And they've known this forever. The Vatican knew this. The Pope wanted to rule the world. They all knew it, but they couldn't do it. The only way is if there was some extraterrestrial threat from up above us. That would be the only way to have everyone embrace the one world government. They could never make it work. They didn't have the technology 500 years ago. The Vatican knew about it. They wanted it. And you go to the Vatican, you see paintings of like UFOs with aliens in them. And they're preparing us for a fake alien invasion. That's always been the plan. You know who promoted space more than anybody? The Vatican. They have all the astronomers. They're all Jesuit Vaticans. All of them. All the ones that are giving us this information about space. They all come from the Vatican. Cool. The most powerful telescope, the Vatican. And you know what name it is? Lucifer.
Lucifer's dick balls.
Hey, Shalom, it's your brother Yawanathon. First and foremost, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai, Bahashim, Rakah HaKadosh. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say Shalom to all the brothers and, of course, the few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right, may the blessing of election be upon your house. Today, I'm going to run a clip for you guys, Abaratazah. It's edifying. We're going to respond to it through the Spirit. Okay, so with no further ado, here is the clip. Get to it really quick here.
You're going to sell the one world government. It's impossible. The only way to make a one world government work is to have the people embrace it. They have to want it because nobody wants it. So the trick is to make people want it, to embrace it. There's only one way. The only way. And they've known this forever. The Vatican knew this. The Pope wanted to rule the world. They all knew it, but they couldn't do it. The only way is if there was some extraterrestrial threat from up above us. That would be the only way to have everyone embrace the one world government. They could never make it work. They didn't have the technology 500 years ago. The Vatican knew about it. They wanted it. And you go to the Vatican, you see paintings of like UFOs with aliens in them, and they're preparing us for a fake alien invasion. That's always been the plan. You know who promoted space more than anybody? The Vatican. They have all the astronomers. They're all Jesuit Vaticans. All of them. All the ones that are giving us this information about space. They all come from the Vatican. The most powerful telescope, the Vatican. And you know what name it is? Lucifer. Lucifer's dick balls.
All right. So we all know this devil. He's the father of lies. And inquisition is being made of everything he says and everything he does. And this time by way of the prophets. That's actually in 2nd Ezra's 6 and 18. Let me get that. Now, in order for them to get that one world government going, they got to get everybody to feel that as though there is a common enemy. One, we're going to be the common enemy. He's going to paint that narrative. And he's going to have, Yahushai, as that common enemy. But it's not little green men in ships, all right? They look like Israelite men of a supernatural stature, okay? And the vessels that they traveled in are described in the scriptures. You go to Ezekiel, the 1st chapter, and the 16th verse. We'll get that after this. This is 2nd Ezra 6, 18 and 19. It says, and it said, behold, the days come that I will begin to draw nigh and to visit them that dwell upon the earth. And man, especially since the pandemic, there has been an innumerable spike in so-called UFO sightings. Okay, we're not dismayed at those signs in heaven. Okay, we're not dismayed at that because we understand what it is. The chariots are our ride out of here. Okay, as destruction is coming down, as the nuclear missiles are coming down, as the chariots are also getting busy on this place, there's going to be those who are being taken up into the chariots as well. Salvation and destruction happening simultaneously. Okay, verse 19, and I will begin to make inquisition of them, what they be that have hurt unjustly with their unrighteousness, when the affliction of Zion shall be fulfilled. And that inquisition, all right, is happening now by way of the Lord's men. This devil is being put on trial, which is why he's so adamant about, censoring what people say online. Okay, you got your whistleblowers, but that's more so geared towards the men. Those policies that he's pushing and passing, that's geared toward the men of the Lord. Okay, who are bringing out prophecy, who are revealing what he's planning to do, and the harsh reality that his plans are going to bring to the masses of the people. Okay. Now I mentioned Ezekiel 1 because I said the chariots are described in the scriptures, and they are. We also know, and I might get that as well, that when we were delivered out of Egypt in the book of Exodus, there was a cloud that guided us by day and a pillar of fire that guided us by night. That was a chariot, and the Lord's right hand was in that chariot guiding us. Okay, even before we entered into, the sea and crossed over on dry land, that chariot made it to where there was a cloud of darkness separating us from the Egyptians. Ezekiel 1:16, it says the appearance of the wheels. Now he's describing a ship in this chapter, and what he's seeing is he's describing the chariots as he's looking up at them. He's saying that it looks as though it's a wheel within wheels. Okay, the appearance of the wheels and their work were like unto the color of beryl. Okay, the texture and color, and the four had one likeness, when their appearance and their work was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. And when they went upon their four sides, they turned not when they went. So not like an airplane where you have to veer over and turn. It could just move however it wanted to. Okay? So, he was going into the aerodynamics of how it moved as well. He talks about the lights underneath the chariot and how they was all around the ship. So, this is kind of like some of the day one stuff that you learn when you come into this truth. But we're not dismayed at those things. And we understand that there's no little green men or gray men in ships. Okay? So, let's go to Isaiah the 14th chapter. Let's see here. And we'll start at actually, I'm going to go to Obadiah first. Let's go to Obadiah 1:3. It says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rocks. We know that Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he comes from Mount Seir. All right, you look at a lot of the architecture here, especially when you go to major metropolises, it's as though he's built up these big concrete caves to surround himself in. He's homesick, okay? Whose habitation is high, and saith in his heart, who shall bring me down? Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. And when they were the Greeks, they had that symbol of the eagle. When they took over Egypt, they had that symbol. The Romans had that symbol. Here in America, they have that symbol. Many European countries have that symbol because that's a sacred animal to them that represents being above all the other creatures of the earth, looking down from that bird's eye view on everything. But the Lord's looking down on him. And the Lord put him in that position. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Given. Okay. Verse 4 again. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So they have their space force. And that isn't for other nations. That isn't to monitor their satellites and things like that. They have an Air Force for that. They're planning and they're gearing up to fight the Most High, like it's written about in the scriptures. When you go to 2nd Ezra, I believe the 13th chapter, when it says they were sore afraid, but yet durst fight. He's going to put the spirit on them to fight anyway. Okay. Yeah, let's go there real quick since I mentioned it. So they're going to use that as a catalyst to try to bring everybody together, because everybody is going to turn and try to battle this foreign entity coming into the earth, right? But we know that force is on our side, but they're not even going to be able to hold a candle to the Lord and his forces. 2nd Ezra 13:7. All right, so Ezra is seeing this vision of the fathership intervening upon the war of Armageddon. All right, taking place in the valley of Yehoshaphat, which is written about in Joel the 3rd chapter. The Lord talks about gathering all the nations in this area to judge them. Okay, that's in Joel 3. But here's a different angle or director's cut on that scene. Continuation of it. All right, Second Ezra 13:7. But I would have seen the region or place whereof the hill was graven. This hill that he's seeing, he's using the words best accessible to him, is also a chariot. Okay, and right here he's saying he can't see the end of it. Where the hill was graven, and I could not. And I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid. All the nations and their armies with their new technology that they're using, all right, the new weaponry to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight because the Lord's going to put the spirit on them to fight. And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, that concentrated heat. And it's written like that in verse 9 here, to show the effortlessness in which it's going to take for the Lord to dismantle the nations and all their armies. It's illustrating to you that power gap. Okay? Verse 10, but only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon the sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw this, all of the nations and their armies, in a moment, in an instant. Okay, and that's the reality that's coming to all the nations, Esau, Edom. All right. Yeah, man. So Abaratazah, the lesson was edifying. Okay, once more, I want to give all praises to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahshai, Bahashim Rakah HaKodash. I want to give double honor to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. I want to say shalom to all the brothers and, of course, a few sisters who are pursuing this truth in sincerity. All right? May the blessing of election be upon your house. Shalom.